Greetings. We're about to do some really quick math. The math we're going to be dealing with today are two questions that people are always asking me right now. They want to know, number one, how do I calculate the percentage chance of catching COVID? What's the chances? And also, how do I calculate the percentage chance of dying if I caught it? And so to answer that question, I'm going to be looking at global statistics. I'm going to be looking at United States statistics. I'm going to look at California statistics, and I'm going to end with Los Angeles statistics on the same particular question. So let's get started. So globally, how do I calculate the percentage chance of catching COVID? Well, first you need to divide the number of people who have COVID by the world's population. So according to what we have now, there's 206 million people in the world that actually have COVID, and there's 7.8 billion people in the world. And so if you do that division right there, the 206 million divided by 7.8 billion, you should get, if you did it correctly, you should get 2.6% chance of catching COVID. That's globally. Okay, let's go down to the next question here. How do I calculate the percentage chance of dying if you caught COVID? Well, first of all, you want to divide the deaths from COVID by the number total of cases. And so the total number of cases is 206 million, and we have 4.3 million deaths globally. And so let's go ahead and do that. So when we do that particular challenge, you should get 2.1%. So that's not your final answer. In order to get your final answer, we're going to have to multiply both of these two percentages here, the 2.6 and the 2.1. What we need to do is we have to multiply both of these two percentages. However, before you multiply them, we need to change them to a decimal form. And so we know that 2.6 in a decimal form is going to be 0.026. And then we know that 2.1 is going to be 0.021. You multiply these two numbers together, you get 0.05. So we got 0.05% chance of dying from COVID globally. 0.05. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. We moved on from globally. Let's go ahead and move to United States. Okay, if we look in the United States, it's the same particular method. If we want to know how to calculate the percentage of chances of getting COVID in the United States, you need to divide the number of people who have COVID in the United States by the US population. So we know that we have 36.6 million cases here in the United States, and we know we have a population of 328.2 million. And so if we go ahead and do our division on this particular challenge, all right, so if you did your math correctly, you should get 11.2%. So it's 11.2% chance of catching COVID here in the United States. Now our second question here, how do I calculate the percentage chances of dying? Say if you caught COVID in the United States, if you caught it, what's your chances of dying? Okay, let's go ahead and see here. Well, we have to, it says here, divide the deaths from COVID in the United States by the number total of cases in the United States. And so we have 621,000 deaths, and we have 36.6 million cases. And so when we do that particular division challenge, you should get 1.7%. But remember, we have to do the same thing we did before. These two numbers, 11.2 and 1.7, we need to multiply those two together. We do need to change them into a decimal form. So 11.2 in a decimal form would be 0.112, and then 1.7 in a decimal form would be 0.017. And as you know, to change the decimal form, 1.7%, we just go back 2 spaces. Boom. See right there. Okay. Anyway, we're going to multiply these two numbers right here. We multiply those two numbers, you should get 0.19%. So in the United States, if you catch COVID, the chances of dying is 0.19%. All right. Let's keep it moving. Now now let's go ahead and go to California. Let's look at the California statistics. All right, California. How do you calculate the percentage of chances of catching COVID in California? You have the same thing, divide the number of people in California by the total population. The total people who have COVID or COVID cases is 4.2 million in California, and the population is 39.5 million. Okay, and so you do that division. All right, if you do this division challenge correctly, you should get 10.6. So you have a 10.6% chance of catching COVID here in California. What about with chances of dying from it if you got that particular diagnosis? Well, the same scenario, you need to divide the deaths from COVID by the number of total cases. And so we know we have 64,630 deaths, and there's 4.2 million COVID cases here. Okay, so if we do your division challenge appropriately, you should get 1.5%. Okay, in order to find out the chances of dying, you need to multiply both of these together, and we need to change them in decimal form. 10.6 would be 0.106, and then 1.5 would be 0.015. And if you multiply these two numbers together, you should get 0.16. And so we're looking at a 0.16% chance of dying from COVID in California, 0.16%. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go to our last one, which would be Los Angeles. All right, now we're here on Los Angeles. How do you calculate the percentage chances of catching COVID in Los Angeles? Well, you need to divide the number of people who have COVID in LA by the Los Angeles county's population. You have 1.3 million cases here in Los Angeles, and you have 10 million people in the population. So if you do your math correctly, and you can actually look and see what this is actually 13%. So you have a 13% chance of catching COVID here in Los Angeles. What about if you catch it, your chances of dying here in Los Angeles? Okay, let's look at it. Okay, we have to divide the deaths from COVID by the number total of cases. We have 24,892 deaths, and we have 1.3 million COVID cases. We do the division there. We're going to get 1.9%. Remember, we have to multiply both of these two right here, change them into decimal forms to figure out the final percentage. And so if we do that, we have 0.13 times 0.019. And if you do your math correctly, you come up with 0.2% chance of dying from COVID in Los Angeles. If you get the positive diagnosis, you have a 0.2% chance of dying. That is the percentage. All right. So hopefully that was helpful. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in, and please like and subscribe, and have a great day. One love.